Hey guys, welcome to another episode of On the Range podcast with Warhawk Tactical and Kelley Defense. I am Mark Kelley. As always, I am joined by my co-host and friend, Rick Hogg. How's it going, buddy?
Man, it's going great, Mark. I just want to thank the viewers, listeners out there for giving us your most precious commodity, your time to tune in. Show wouldn't be where it is without your support, so thank you for that. Do me a favor. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Obviously, don't be driving and texting. Hit that review button, leave us a rating, all that other good stuff. I don't care if it's just a thumbs up emoji. Give us something to help beat the old algorithm system. Tell your friends, tell your family, share the emails, all that stuff. Let people know about On the Range podcast. Don't forget, guys, go to warhog.com and kelleydefense.com. Sign up for the newsletters. I'm still behind, Mark. I'm not going to lie. So they're going, hey, man, I signed up for the newsletter. Haven't got anything. Dude, I am... after coming off the massive road trip we just got off of, I'm a little bit behind on my admin. Honeydew list longer than my arm, so you knock one thing out, three more pop up, but not making excuses, just that's kind of life. And when you prioritize, I need to make, the max effort to put that email list or that newsletter out to the email recipient. So for that, guys, I apologize. But I think it's a good segue kind of into this episode. And I don't know if we're going to title it Leaving It on the Mat, but it's kind of that concept, right? Me and Mark were talking, kind of pre-show stuff. And it's, you got people out there and they kind of question, it's like, man, why wasn't I successful at whatever? And we're kind of using, the sports analogy as a prime one. And you got to ask the $1 million question, well, did you put it all out there? So when I was wrestling, it was, coach would say, hey man, leave it all out on the mat. So mentally, physically go out there and do it. And I think it's an important life lesson. And when you look at it, especially for sports that are individual, whether it's wrestling, boxing, MMA, track, tennis,
right.
I mean, anything that's an individual sport, man, it's on you. And I think a great way you look at some of the athletes, right? So look at either boxing or MMA, the old stare down, and just kind of getting in that guy's head going, hey man, you want some of this? It might be the difference between, hey, as we were talking earlier, either getting that W or that L in the column. But there's pros and cons to both, right? So you can sit there and have all these W's in the column, that's great. But if you start slacking off, that's not a good thing. You always got to keep striving, keep getting better. But if you get the L in the column, I mean, that should drive you more to go, hey man, I've got to put more max effort in or figure out my game to make it better. So using kind of the sports analogy, but it applies to life. And we're here to tell you, man, if you think Rick and Mark have life figured out, you're sadly mistaken, right? We're continually improving. And I think that's the key part. Super excited. I mean, let's be an honest broker, man. Amazon TV, Fire Stick, all that stuff, getting our stuff put out there. I mean, who thought of it, right? But it goes into when you're, relationship building, for lack of better terms, or chatting with your friends or associates or whatever. I mean, things pop up, and really, Jason was kind of the segue that led us into that. So it's not like we're always out there having these brainchild ideas. Sometimes you just need, hey, little help, little boosts. Somebody drops something there. Boom. Okay, cool. Thanks, Jason. Greatly appreciated, brother. Now we're going to pick up and start running with it. So it can go to whatever life, man. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's, mental, physical, financial, relationship, whatever. It's, if you're not putting the effort in, at the end of the day, you can't sit there and go, oh, I don't understand what's going on, dude.
Right.
We're very much a entitled society where we think we deserve everything. The only thing I deserve is the freedoms that Constitution gives me. Everything else, man, you got to sit there and work for it. And I think people forget that. I just, if we got a little more drive, right? So, here's a prime example. the the catfishers, right? So the cats out there in the interwebs versus sitting there actually doing something productive. That's like, what was it, last week? Facebook. I had a couple Facebook fakers,
Yeah.
Rick Hogg accounts out there, and it's like, dude,
Yeah, I got a friend request.
yeah.
Yeah.
So check it out, guys. Right. If you've got a friend request from Rick Hogg, more than likely, it's not me. Mine specifically, it says something about Warhog Tathklin and has warhog.com on there. This one didn't. Now, they try to do a great job, right? Took the same cover picture I did, but they didn't put Duco up in there. It was like of the light pole behind, which I was like, I don't even remember the light pole behind, but it was there. And then somehow around the picture of me, Sandy, and Duco, there was like flowers. And I'm like, well, they took the effort to put flowers, but couldn't center the picture. Whatever, man. But I just kind of say all that because you got people putting effort forward to scam other people. And I'm like, dude, just go do some work. You know, get off your ass and put your nose to the grindstone and go do something productive for society. Don't sit there and be trying to catfish. It's just crazy.
It's event time or it's game time. It's interview time. Mm-hmm. Of course it should be maximum effort. If you're not there to put in everything that you can into whatever you're doing, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. Yeah. And we also talked about the preparedness too. Mm-hmm. Let's say you're not doing everything you can. My dad always said, if something happens, man, I should have got that job. It should have been me. Okay, well, did you do everything in your power that you could have done to prepare for that job interview? Mm-hmm. And 99% of the time, it's going to be no, especially if you didn't get it. And it's still going to be no sometimes if you do get it. So why even take the risk? Go out there, prepare, do everything you can that you can in your purview, everything you can to prepare for whatever event it is. And you're right. If you're not doing that, then it's hard to complain about the result. But I can tell you, more times than not, if you're preparing as hard as you can, you're probably preparing more than most of the others who are going for that job or playing in that game or wrestling in that tournament. And the results will start coming. But there's certainly, you can't, it's just like, that one post you put up, the guys who fall short and didn't put in the work are the ones complaining about the result. Mm-hmm. The guys who are putting in all the work are worried that they're being lazy and they're not doing enough. That's what it takes. And that's what we're talking about, folks.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You want to sit there and we harp it time and time again, 1% better. And, it should be kind of, I started doing, I guess we'll plug it in here as well. On occasion, I just do, hey man, time for the personal check. It's between you and yourself. I ask the question, say, did you work out today? And I look at it this way. Hey, if you didn't, dude, if you're still awake today and you're listening to this show or whenever it airs, right, and you haven't worked out, dude, go work out, right? Don't
do something.
Exactly. Don't sit there and go, well, I'll do it tomorrow. To my armed professionals, and that's a broad brush spectrum, LE, military, armed civilian, whatever the case may be. If you're carrying a firearm for a living and you're not doing some type of firearms manipulation, dry fire, something with that thing, and I'm going to go this far, go every day, shame on you, man. I mean, honestly. So you're carrying this tool for your self-protection, your family's, whatever the case may be, and you don't want to put the effort in. And again, if you sit there and get burnt down, and I get it, some of these guys get ambushed, never see it coming, don't even, can't even get their gun out the holster.
Right.
I get it, right? But it's one of those, don't sit there in the hospital and go, man, how the hell did I get shot up if there was things in your ability you could have done, but, your gun handling skills weren't there and you couldn't do it. And I kind of added some other things in there, we're such a society to be, whoa, life's terrible. Dude, life's not terrible. Life, if you're on this side of the dirt, life is good, right? And it was just kind of asking, hey, what are you grateful for? And then last but not least, man, what are you doing to be a good person? Now I got it. It's, you're listening to this thing 11:30 p.m. Everyone in the house is asleep. Yeah, your chance of doing something if you hadn't done something that day, might be slim to none. Maybe you shoot a friend you haven't talked to in a while a text, hey man, just want to check on you. You know, you can still try to do something. But the point is, too many times people are down in the dumps. They're all this, all that. I didn't do whatever. And you just ask a question. I use the wrestling analogy because I didn't realize it at the time. Looking back in life, did you leave it all on the mat? And if the answer is yes, then okay, cool. Because there were times I can remember wrestling that, man, the big, tall beanpole dudes, savages, man. You're trying to wrap these cats up, and man, I just ain't got enough real estate in there to sit there and get all their stuff. But a dude that's, my size, yeah, dude, all day long. Wasn't saying I would always get smoked by bean poles, but you sit there and go, all right, cool. I've got to apply a different strategy for these guys. Certain things are going to work for guys my statute. Certain things are going to work for, the bean poles, and you just got to work on it. So life's the same way. Have that strategy. Sit there and go, cool, man. Whether it's that interview, whatever it is, your workout plan, whatever. Did you leave it on the mat? And if the answer is yeah, okay, cool. And if you wind up with the L, go, all right, do that. It kind of, you can take it to the shooting analogy, right? Each shot you should be diagnosing. So if I sit there and throw a shot, go, okay, cool. What did I do to make the shot? Cool. Repeat. Oh, I threw the shot. Okay. Unemotional event. Go, oh, I did X and I don't need to do X for the next one. And then don't do it and get your hits where they need to be. So there's so many applications to it. But guys, I think we're just looking for the easy button. Things, man, it's kind of like Amazon, buy today, it's here tomorrow. It's like, life isn't like that, man. Life's a grind, man. I mean, we've been going at this thing, close to 2 years now? So we're at somewhere?
I think we did it. We started April of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah. So 2 years.
We're 2 years in the podcast grind, and we're still growing, man. And I'm not talking, just the people listening. I'm talking we're growing as far as what we're doing to expand our reach out there and get more people to, to hear the show. So yes, part of that is, the viewers, listeners out there, they give us your support, but it's also going, who knew, right? Like we never thought, hey man, what's this Amazon Fire TV stuff?
Never even crossed my mind.
Never. Right. So we're originally thinking, hey man, we run an audio show. Okay, cool. Then you start going, well, why don't we add video to it? Okay, cool. We do that. Hit up the StreamYard, get some live broadcasting, I mean, just continually dabbling. Could you sit there and say, hey, is the podcast as a whole in a W column? I mean, yeah, it's kind of us against the world, but you want to continually make those incremental improvements and sit there and go, well, here's another option. So why wouldn't you do it? I mean, life's no different, man. You got to continually stay on the grind. The other part is when you're doing all this, so we kind of look at things, if you want to say from the individual skill set standpoint, but then it's also, what are you doing to better harness, your relationships out there? So I'll give you a prime example. If you guys don't know, Max Martini, he's an actor. He played in Saving Private Ryan, 13 Hours. Probably the biggest one, I think, probably his best role was Somerville Gardner, where he played, a veteran suffering with, PTS, trying to bring that awareness there. But Max did a voiceover for me during the Must to Models event, the Guardians of the Night. So it's basically a poem about military working dogs. And did he have to do it? Nope. Did he do it? Absolutely. So he was in town today. He'll be in town again tomorrow. You think I went and saw him? Absolutely, dude. Because again, it's just a lot of times we can sit there and go, well, I'm too busy, or I just want to be lazy. Dude, if you get a chance to harness those relationships, why wouldn't you go out there and if it's a friend you haven't seen in a long time, and they're in town, try to make those efforts to connect. But to me, it just goes, it goes back to life, right? It's continually striving, look at your circle. And, when you look at people in your circle, it's kind of like this. Your W's are those that enhance you. So let's just say those that put wind in your sails. If you want to say your L column, man, if you got those boat anchors in your life, cut them away, man. You got negative Nancy's out there sitting there, just cut that trash away. And, it kind of goes back to that one episode that I did on, toxicity, because I got guys shooting me notes going, hey man, all this stuff on social, dude, here's the thing. I'm not affected by social, right? Because you control that platform as far as who you want to follow or who you don't. So don't sit there and complain. The news is a prime one. I don't know the last time you sat down and kind of listened to the news. I pretty much don't. I'll tell you straight up. I'll listen to Fox. If I've got some time to burn, which I don't, I used to go over and kind of look at the other, let's see what MSNBC is doing. Let's see what CNN's doing. Because golly, man, you listen to some of the rubbish they're pumping out. Just kind of know what the end, it's nice to know what the enemy's doing, but it boils down to, dude, cut that crap out of your life. Sit there and go, what are you looking to do to enhance you? Are you beating the sun up or not? I mean, I'm not saying one's right, one's wrong, but there's something to be said to, hey, knock some stuff out prior to the sun getting up and going, hey man, I've already got, something done in life. I mean, whatever that something is for you. But
yeah, both of us were up early this morning. I saw your stuff on there.
Oh yeah.
We were putting stuff on there way before the sun came up.
It is what it is.
I think the last thing is, once you've attained some level of success, or once you've attained a certain goal, now is not the time to take your foot off the gas. Now is not your time to take it easy.
No.
Right? Every job, and I know you could say the same thing, every job that we had that was in kind of our wheelhouse, the work wasn't getting there. The work began after that. It was always harder after you pass whatever selection, whatever tryouts, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
That's when the daily testing happens. It wasn't just a one-day test. Now it's a daily test.
Yeah.
If you ain't cutting it and you're not understanding what we're putting down, we'll retrain you and we'll keep pushing. But at some point, you're out of there. So that's not the time to take it easy. That's the time when you really need to step on the gas and start perfecting whatever it is that you're operating as.
Yeah. And part of that's looking at, you as the individual.
Yep.
Nobody likes to go, hey man, what am I weak at? Nobody likes to admit weaknesses, right? So if I'm not admitting my weaknesses, and shooting's a prime example, right? So guys are always going to shoot the things they're good at. Okay. Why aren't you doing this? Well, I don't know. I'm just asking the question. But if you sit there and go, hey man, my whatever skill, my draw to first shot time, it's horrible, but my mag changes are super fast. So I'm just going to keep doing mag changes. Well, why won't you work on your draw to first shot? Right. So part of it is when you're doing that self-evaluation, what am I weak at? So especially if you're in this individual sport, we'll go back to wrestling as a prime example. Dude, you may be strong as a bull, but if you don't have endurance, you might run across, a bull right across the way, but if he's got the longer endurance, you see it in MMA all the time. Guys equally matched. All right, who's got more gas in the gas tank? So
isn't that curious though? That's a funny way of putting it, because that's exactly what we're talking about. You're good at something, then you start adding a tool to your toolbox. It's very easy to stop practicing that other thing. It's very easy to start, showing some deficiencies in the other task. But see, isn't that the secret though? You got to hit them all, and you got to be proficient at all of them if you want to be at a high level. If you want to be a high performer, and they start throwing things on your plate, You can't say, well, I can't do that. I don't have to. That's not going to cut it, man. We need you to do this. Everybody else does it. You know, well, I got too much on my plate. No, that's not going to cut it. It's the same with us right now. Like you said, man, we got all kinds of things going on, all kinds of things. It's difficult. No one's saying it's not, but we're trying to work at the efficiency and how to be more efficient at getting this workflow done so we can work on the other stuff that seems to be hard to get to. It's constant. When you hit those certain levels, man, now we got the Patreon. Now we got the on-demand stuff. Now we got the show. Now we got another show coming up. We got our individual shows. We got our training companies. Dude, these last 3 weeks have been brutal busy. It's just, you can't take your foot off the gas. You got to keep working at it.
No, you got to keep, and that's the whole thing, right? You got to keep burning at it. But unfortunately, sometimes, you know, you sit there and get gas. But the thing is, to me, it's the foundation. If you're building that foundation, then that's the key thing. If you don't have a solid foundation, then what are you building on? You got kind of nothing, right? So you've got to put the max effort forward when you're doing business. If you're not, if you don't go back to making sure the basics are straight, then you're always going to kind of have those dramas. But foundationally, you know, think about shooting. If you're not doing the basics extremely well, and you want to do a quote unquote advanced technique, whatever that advanced.
Yeah. What's next? What do we got to do next to train?
You know, if you don't have that solid foundation, then you're spinning your wheels, because you may try to do something else, but you're really not set for it, because let's say your foundation is only 2 inches of concrete versus 2 feet.
It's going to be weak.
Yeah. You know, you might pull it off once or twice, but you know, it's not going to be a steady state. And then it's like, all right, hey, how do we keep driving this thing forward? How do we keep, you know, like you said, getting incrementally better? It's a battle, but you just can't sit there. You can't sit there and go, yeah, I got this. I'm good. As soon as you say I'm good, no way, dude. That hammer's gonna fall on you, and you're gonna be right back to going, man, what happened? Well, you never built the solid foundation.
Yeah.
So,
great conversation. You know, you brought up CNN earlier. Did you hear about the CNN Plus app or the streaming service? Did you hear about that?
I did. I did, as a matter of fact, because during my I will say this, right? During my travels, I will stick on Fox News, because it's on XM there, and I'll catch up with Fox. I'm sorry, Mark. You know, who was the brainchild that thought for a minute,
dude?
CNN Plus, right? The communist.
That's original, by the way.
The communist news network. At least with Fox, right? So Fox has their sidebar show, you know, Fox Nation, and you can sit there and go, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Who wants more CNN? You know,
dude, nobody.
But here's the thing, brother. Right? You bring up a great point. So, part before you kind of do endeavors is laying out the matrix, right? Laying out the matrix and going, all right, let's kind of look at what's going to be our.
Let's read the room.
Read the room. Or from the business standpoint, what's going to be our return on investment?
Oh, dude.
And
did you hear the numbers?
Oh God, they were like, I think they were what, in the hundreds. I don't even think. I don't even hit. I think they hit 1,000. Right. So we got more people. We got more people, right, tuning in to On the Range podcasts than people did CNN Plus.
Oh, I'm going to tell you right now, that's you know what? I didn't even think about that, but our current numbers, I guarantee that time period for this last 21 days, 23 days that CNN tried to make this CNN Plus streaming app happen, or streaming service happen, I almost guarantee that we had more ears and eyes touch our show than touched all their shows. That's a fact. You know, I think we ought to back up for you listeners and viewers out there that don't know what we're talking about. CNN started at the beginning of the year talking about the streaming service that they were going to put out. Fox Nation has theirs. There's a lot of streaming services out there. Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire, they have a lot of streaming things going on at the Daily Wire. There's a lot of people out there, Discovery, A&E, all these guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, Fox Nation. They obviously didn't read the room. You bring up a great point. Someone up there should have known about this. But anyway, so at the beginning of the month, it launched. And over at Kelley Defense, if you hit the read button in the menu bar, we did an article on this. Rick and I talked about it, how it was starting. And my main focus was, like you said, who in the world wanted more Brian Stetler? Who wanted more Jamel Hill?
Mm-hmm.
Who wanted that? Who wanted more? Nobody. It's a complete failure. I don't think that if they hit 10,000 total subscriptions, I'll be surprised.
Dude,
they lost.
Well, here's the thing, Mark. Honestly, I think, and I'm not BSing when I say I think the number were in the hundreds.
Yeah, it was an abysmal failure.
Yeah,
abysmal failure.
And I think it was a 600,000 loss.
Oh, you mean the amount of money that they lost?
Yeah,
300 million, bro.
300 million.
300 million.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, that's
all right.
Now, hey, that's not my quote. That's coming from Outkick.
Okay.
300 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, maybe so here's the thing. If you're from CNN and you happen to be tuning in, listen to the On the Range podcast, and you guys get a couple million you want to chuck our way, trust me, we can put that.
I mean, if you're burning cash and you're throwing it away, hey,
dude, we could put it to good use, right?
We could use some new cameras and mics and.
Dude, I could church up this studio like nobody's business, versus my camera.
And I'd only use $1 million.
No, dude.
Dude, you want to know who the biggest loser is on all this? Besides, the CNN's bank account.
Mm-hmm.
My man, Mike Wallace. I heard when he left Fox, he had a great viewership show. I'm not going to. I'm not a huge Mike Wallace fan. I think what he did to President Trump during the debates was obviously on it. Look, I'm not going to say unfair. Hey, he's a big boy, man.
Yeah.
Trump's he's a grown man. He can survive words, but
Sure.
It just wasn't being done on the other side of the house. But anyway, my man leaves the Sunday show over at Fox, which was a huge show. I think one of the biggest viewing shows on Sundays, right? Leaves, and I thought he was going to go to MSNBC. My man does a 90-degree turn and goes to CNN to do one of the shows on CNN Plus. Failure. 300 million, bro. I hope I'm right about that.
Yeah.
That is a ton of cash.
Dude.
I can't think of anything. I mean, dude, that's insane.
Yeah.
You're right. You got to read the room, dude. Nobody wanted. Nobody believes CNN. Their ratings are bad enough on free TV. You think someone's going to pay? I think the big joke was, "Hey, man, we got a bargain for you." OTR always points out the bargains for you, man.
Hey.
It's only going to cost you $60 a year. Zilch, zero, nobody.
Yeah.
That was crazy, man. God,
unbelievable, man. It goes down. But see, here's the thing that blows me away, Mark. Right? That just goes to show. So if you happen to tune into CNN, all right, and you think they're giving you any type of truth, they can't figure out their own business strategy. And I mean, that should be, let's do, here's a prime example. All right. Hey, Rick and Mark are going to go, hey, we got 300 million to burn, right? Because
see, that sounds ridiculous the way you say it like that.
well, just hear me out, right? We got all right. So let's do this.
Isn't that funny?
Rick and Mark pool our money together, and we got 300 million that we're going to do this project.
Oh, God.
All right. But if no one's sitting there tuning in as it is
for free,
right? Why are you going to sit there and go, oh, no. You really want to tune in, to On the Range Plus to get even more.
Yeah.
You know, and probably using us as the example, but my point being is like, dude, if your ratings aren't there, what are you offering that are going to draw people there? Like,
Yeah.
Number one, their marketing. I don't remember seeing anything really floating around.
No.
Going. Hey, here's CNN Plus. What are you offering? I don't even know what. You know,
Dude.
At least with Fox Nation, right? Not to cut you off, but they're going to do things like, hey man, they're going down a best rating competition, and
right.
filming that, right? They've got all.
You're talking about the Fox Nation, right?
Fox Nation, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's Hero Dogs, I mean, they've got a bunch of things that's typically pro-U.S., pro-military. You know, what's CNN going to tell you? Well, you Republicans all suck, dude.
How horrible America is.
Yeah, you know how we're just this big, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't even think of what CNN always says because I don't watch CNN. But my point being, it's like, why are you going to put the country down even more for what we're trying to do? You know, the Constitution is the Constitution. It's not a living document because our founders that wrote that phenomenal document are all on the ground. Have we made adjustments to it? Yeah. You know, when it made sense. And on that, I'm going to sidebar for a second because I think it's a critical point. Talking about this earlier. So let's think about it. It's been a little over 100 years since women can vote, right? So the power of the women's suffrage back in the 1900s. I'm going to say this. If you're a lady, listener, viewer, do me a favor. Go hit your elected officials up and tell them people, because again, they should work for you. Tell them people this whole man doing lady sports unacceptable. You know, because let's be an honest broker, right? Probably the most sexist thing, you know, is sitting there going, well, lady sports, we'll let anyone join it now. No way. You know, you are a biological woman. I'm not going to get into the whole argument of, I don't even know what the X and the U means. I was doing some travel stuff. Typically it's male or female. Then I've got male, female, and X and a U. And I'm like, what the hell's the X and a U sex?
I don't know, dude.
But my point being is, ladies, you are the majority sex-wise in this country. Please do me a huge favor. The 2022 reckoning is coming as far as the U.S. Congress goes. Do me a favor. If that person that's sitting there is not your constituent, has your best interest at heart, i.e., you know, keeping ladies sports pure, ladies things pure, boot them. I'm sorry. You know, let them go, because let's be an honest broker. Ladies, you work too hard to get where you're at, you know, and you're only at, and you can sit there only 100 years. Yeah. I mean, you couldn't even vote, you know, in the 1800s. Well, you got the chance to vote. So that was a huge piece. But again, women's rights, man, are getting chopped at the ankles, man. And they need to stand up. They need to stand up for that. So,
especially those governors that vetoed the legislators, and they had to go back and overturn his veto. And it's just ridiculous. Vote those jackasses out.
Vote them out.
Vote them out.
I'll give you a prime example. I'm not all sure who's running here in North Carolina, but dude, Coop's got to go. So if you guys aren't savvy, we tried to repeal the handgun permit, which I didn't know this till earlier, actually fell under Jim Crow laws. The North Carolina representatives basically approved appealing the law, and then old Governor Cooper vetoed it. So I guess you're Jim Crow, you know. So come on, man. It just boggles my mind that you're going to keep stuff there for what? And ladies, same thing. If you're in one of those states where those governors, you know, it's gone, you know, to your state legislation, and the legislators have agreed to it and the governors vetoed it, man, boot that dude or lady, whatever, you know. whatever sex that person is, get rid of them, because I'm personally tired of, let's be an honest broker. The governor's there to be a check and balance, right? Same thing with the president. Okay. So I guess you're pro Jim Crow here in North Carolina there, old Governor Cooper.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
That's what it seems like.
Because here's the thing. At first, I used to think, hey, the pistol purchase permit was an easy way for the state to get $5 out of you if you wanted to buy a gun. I was like, well, all right, I guess they're just sucking you for cash. But then when I found out, it actually, because when you look at the whole layout, it was down to the local sheriff issued the permit, could either issue or not issue. And then when you dug even deeper, and it wasn't until how I found out was I called my legislator and was like, hey, I want to get this thing. I am pro voting the pistol permit out. And the lady up there was phenomenal. She started going, oh yeah, let me tell you all about it. And started laying out the whole history, which I didn't know. And it was all Jim Crow stuff. And I'm like, wow. Now I'm totally, put me down for 2 checks if you can. But
yeah.
So I'm thinking, hey man, this thing's a no brainer. And Coop sits there and vetoes it. And I'm like, dude, don't sit there and give me gun control, because you got to go through all your NICS checks and everything else. And oh, by the way, in the state of North Carolina, I would just tell you, go get your concealed carry permit, because that way you negate a pistol purchase permit and you're not having to do a NICS check because it's already done. So that way we got more armed citizens out there, but that makes you get training though, of course. Because the state mandate is weak.
A lot of people just don't know that stuff, and most people wouldn't. Most people wouldn't.
Dude, I'm a pro gun guy, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't know the true history behind this law.
Yeah.
And once I found out, dude, total game changer. Not only is it infringing upon your rights, I'm just thinking, all right, well, the state just wants to sucker me for $5 per pistol I'm buying, until I got my concealed carry, or until that passed. And then obviously, now you're just using concealed carry to get past. But it's like, dude, Jim Crow, and you still want to keep it on the books? Come on, man. Come on, Coop.
Come on, Coop.
Yeah.
So to finish up on that CNN Plus thing, not only did they not read their audience and all that other stuff, but you talk about some unlikable hosts. That Brian Stetler and that Jamel Hill. How old do you think Brian Stetler is?
No idea.
He looks like, right? I mean, would you think he's in it? What decade of life do you think he would be in?
I don't know, because I don't watch him. I got to be honest.
What he looks like, though, right?
I do.
Take a wild guess. How old do you think he is? I'll tell you right now. He's 36, maybe 37. He is the oldest looking 36-year-old
dude
I have ever seen.
The only thing that's telling me is I guess CNN has given him a hard life. So,
and Jamel Hill, we don't know her personally, and I don't know Brian Stetler personally. I'll tell you what though, Brian Stetler one time was talking about Rush Limbaugh. Mm-hmm. And everything he was saying about Rush Limbaugh and how, hey, we are all standing on, his giant shoulders and all this other stuff. Didn't like him. Mm-hmm. But it's just like, I'm not a big Howard Stern fan anymore, but the guy's a legend. You talk about, paving the way for a lot of people. But he did say some things that that I really agreed with. But he is so unlikable. Jamel Hill has failed everywhere she's gone and been fired. I think she was on the Vibe, Vice TV, ESPN, gone. And nobody wants to watch her, but they keep hiring her. And yeah, I want to double check those numbers. I think it was like a $300 million loss in like 28 days. God. That's huge,
dude.
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the thing. I don't know that CNN's got the money to burn like that, man. I mean, that's a huge. I don't know. Number. I don't know any company, right, that's got that money. Now, some people might go, old Elon Musk and his buy of Twitter, but there's a rhyme and reason for what he's doing. Do you think $42 billion, right? $42 billion. He's already got together, ready to dump on Twitter. You don't think my man has done his market research and knows exactly what he's doing. Oh, yes, he does. You know, and you don't think if he buys that company, there's going to be some changes happening. Oh, yeah, because he knows, I guarantee he knows with the oppression of the First Amendment, he opens Twitter up to free speech. Everybody is going there. Now, whether he opts to, you know, do his ad agency like the rest of the social platforms do, you know, I don't know how all that piece works, but dude, everyone's going to leave. Well, I won't say everybody, right? Because you'll still have those diehard idiots that want to stay on Facebook and read that propaganda and be censored and all that other crap. But anyone that's pro freedom of speech will go to Twitter, and all the rest will crap. And I know Elon is sitting there. He's done his research, man, and he's sitting there going, $42 billion. Yeah, man, I'm in to give people a platform to speak freely. So amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch. You know, we'll see what happens. So anyway, guys, thanks for joining us again. Make sure you go to warhog.com and kelleydefense.com. Sign up for the email list and the newsletters. There's a lot of good stuff on there, and we're excited to let everybody know that you go to the OTR training on demand. The video training that a lot of the Patreon guys, you know, this is going to be new stuff, but a lot of the Patreon guys and gals were enjoying and get to see. You're going to have access to it. You can stream it. You can buy it. You can download it. So go check that out. Just go to warhog.com and kelleydefense.com and hit the OTR training on demand. And last but not least, we've mentioned it several times. Make sure you go to patreon.com/on the range podcast. Again, that's patreon.com/on the range podcast. A lot of interaction with Rick and I with the patron, the OTR patron group. Great community, nation or worldwide, globally.
Global.
A lot of great folks on there. It's a lot of fun. Twice a month we have Zoom calls. This one went a little long, but we're going to get them in. You better believe it. And we're going to solve all the world's problems again. Two times a month.
Dude, we always do, man. I mean, it. Mark, I'm going to tell you, I love the Zoom calls because it's just great interaction with guys. And of course, guys is my unisex term for both male and female.
We don't discriminate here at all.
No.
We love everybody.
Exactly. So, but it's just, it's a great time just to chat, and it's kind of that open forum. And really the patrons have I love these guys, right? Because they've kind of shifted. Before it was just kind of us chatting and kind of going around the room. Now it's like, hey man, got my questions, you know, and dude, some of the guys are already like, boom, they're prepped, you know, for these Zoom calls going, hey, here's what I got. Here's what's going on. And just fantastic guys. So always enjoyable. And we had to even adjust our times, man, because again, we're globally, we had some diehard patrons that were up at like, dark 30 in the morning to tune in. So try to throw those guys.
Love all those guys and gals, man.
Dude,
love them.
Awesome. Just awesome people.
And don't forget, this coming Monday, 7 p.m. live, it's going to be on YouTube, and then it will follow up, be on Vimeo, as well as Roku TV and Fire TV app. Is the new show from Rick and I and Dr. Jason Piccolo, Romeo Charlie, Reality Check. It's going to be training based, preparedness, and I'm sure we'll talk. We'll have to talk about some politics in there and some policy, you know, whatever. But it's going to be a great show. It's going to be a lot of fun, panel style. Yeah, have some guest panelists every now and then. Really looking forward to it. It's not directly in the OTR universe, but it's certainly part of it, and it's going to make everything better. And we hope you guys enjoy it and hope you tune in. On social, we've been sharing the link, so keep pushing that out for us, and let's get some good viewership and give me some good feedback.
Yeah, buddy.
Definitely need feedback. Yeah.
Dude, I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be good.